Ready to do it live?
I'm ready to do it live.
Ready to do it live?
You gonna bring us in?
All right. Cool. All right.
All right. So I'm ready to do it live. You gonna bring us in?
Ready to do it live?
All right. So.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So I'm ready to do it live.
All right. We're back.
I didn't like that.
Your mask literally moved like a beat, and we're back.
There's just so much pressure. It just got so quiet so quick.
Well, you can't tell if, like, because we're all wearing masks, right? And you're looking at me, and I'm like, I'm smiling at him, but he has no freaking idea.
Exactly. I'm smiling at you. I'm smiling at you.
Like, Brett, I need you to smile at me with your eyes.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do it as well.
We'll just do every 30 seconds, just for like a second. I'll just see what everybody's mood is.
Yeah. Take a deep breath in and then smile.
Don't exhale.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
All right, let's just roll into it. We're back. This week we have Brett, Rudder.
What's up?
Yep, and then Isaac.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on?
What's up, dude?
So, was that me?
Yeah.
You're still on.
This is
was you.
Hey, this is going on such a bad
Stop
start.
touching your mic.
Get adjusted. I'm sorry. And this is just
now
not.
it's messed up.
Yeah, the mic's messed up.
We should
now.
probably redo.
Yeah, it's clipped.
I kind of like
It's
it.
clipped.
This is a good. I think this is a good.
We got our
segment.
intro. That's good.
This is as natural.
Hey,
as
give
you
your
can ask
cable
for.
a little bit of slack too, Danny. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was like
You can give us all a little slack, Dan.
Give yourself a little
I was
slack.
gonna say, how about you guys give me a little slack? All right.
No, we give Danny zero slack.
Yeah,
Everyone
you're
keep
right.
harping on him.
All right. Is that better
Stare at him.
now?
We should just make Danny
Okay.
hold.
Yeah, that
his
sounds
mic.
good. You're not clipping
So
anymore.
the problem is Danny has a Scott Stapp complex where he has
Oh,
to have his
no.
hand on the mic, and it's causing problems.
Yeah. I just have to like talk
You
like
gotta
this.
love
Actually,
it.
and even sometimes I
You
like to
gotta-
cup it like that when I'm talking. Just really make sure they hear me.
This is the Scott's.
Yeah, it is. You gotta. You're just loving that mic, man. It's all good.
All right.
It worked for Scott.
Who's Scott?
Scott
Scott Stapp.
Creed.
Creed, man.
Yeah.
I don't like Creed.
Of course not. They were like,
Oh,
They're awful.
Creed.
somehow what happened was, I think this is what happened. Nickelback came along, and then everyone forgot about how bad Creed was.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about
But
that.
Creed was actually way better than Nickelback too.
Like, are we talking talent wise, or are we
Yes.
talking?
Yes. Creed.
You guys
Creed,
are rolling, right?
Mark,
cool.
Mark Tremonti played guitar for Creed. Mark Tremonti is like one of the best guitarists in rock and roll. Like Nickelback doesn't have that caliber of talent in their band. It just
No.
doesn't.
So I will say, I've never seen either of them in concert, but I've
Me
heard that Nickelback is insane live, and I
I
don't
believe
want
it.
to keep saying
I saw
that.
them live
They-
in 2010.
They're really good live. I have to give credit
I believe
where credit's
that.
due.
And that's where I'm like, of course, like at some level they have to put on a good show, like, and like they can't be Puddle of Mud where it's like, oh yeah, I guess they're not good live because
Or Blink
they don't.
182.
Like
Oh my
honestly, it
God.
is funny because like around here we don't really know necessarily who actually is amazing live or not because we only get the bands that show up at Hershey Park
Yeah.
at that level. So it's
true.
like
That's
true.
actually Nickelback played at
Right.
Hershey.
Yeah.
And they were contrasted by their opener, Buck Cherry.
oh gosh.
Yo.
God.
You were at that show,
That
bro.
that band is god-awful.
I remember that one.
God-awful.
I've never seen so many Coors Light drank before in my life.
Hey, don't knock the Colorado Kool-Aid, man.
Is that what they call it?
That's what Johnny Paycheck called it back in the 70s.
You
so.
guI'm throwing out all these names, and I'm just not picking up on them.
I was gonna ask how old you guys are because I feel like I'm old.
I'm 25.
I'm 31.
Okay, all right,
I'm 29.
33. Not bad.
Yeah.
We got a whole array of
We're- yeah.
ages here. Wow. Well, I'm really glad that. So none of us like Creed. Is that correct?
I like Creed.
You
I
do
like-
like?
I
So
like Creed.
Wait, who's talking?
Sorry, the mask.
Yeah.
Your guys sound very similar.
Creed.
I will admit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, wait, what? Like in the mics,
Well-
in like person, not at all. But
Right,
in
right.
the mics,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What if we just cut out the mouth part of
Yeah.
the mask, and then we
Yeah.
can see who's
Then you
talking?
can
Yeah.
You need like an active light that lights up when
Yeah.
you talk in your mic.
Bing. Yeah.
We should have all got like LED grills,
Oh
so that
my
way you can
gosh.
see the teeth. Yeah, exactly.
Just
That's
raise your
center.
hand every time you're talking.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have the talking
hey.
stick, Alan. So
I don't mind Creed. I grew up listening to my dad listened to them a lot, but specifically with arms wide open. Like,
I'm not a
all
fan
the
of that.
time,
No.
all the time. And
But-
I was like, ugh.
There's a lot of good deep Creed, but like I think we talked about it last time. I tried to convince you guys.
I was gonna say, did we talk about Creed last?
I tried to convince you guys.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah, we
You
did.
didn't.
Sorry,
you
I didn't mean to bring it up.
No, it's okay.
I think didn't I bring it up? I brought up Scott Stapp.
You did bring up Scott Stapp hands.
I like Scott Stapp.
But at the same time,
Who?
see, here's the thing, though. So Nickelback, I'm just going to go back to the Nickelback Creed comparison. Nickelback, they just act like, I mean, from what I've seen on the internet, like videos and stuff like that, I've never interacted with them personally, but on the internet, they're kind of stuck up. Like, they're douchebags. They're way bigger.
Really?
But at the same time, in the same token, the vocalist of Creed was the exact same way.
Oh yeah.
He was like, I will not talk to anyone because he's saving his voice for the performance, and like he would never break that. And I was like, you're kind of ridiculous. Like you can literally just be like, hey, hi, how's it going? Like that is not going to affect your performance whatsoever.
It's not like he has a high voice though either. Like,
No.
dude was
Well,
definitely.
he was
a bass.
already ruining it with substances, so he's probably looking at percentages and
that's
thinking,
true.
okay, I gotta. If I want to drink, I gotta stop talking.
If I want to
You
do
know,
this much
that's
heroin,
true.
I can't talk to this many people. All right, cool.
It's all about return on investment. Right? So,
I got to get more than I give.
yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Wow. All right. What a rabbit hole we went down on the very
I
beginning
think that
of
was
this.
a good rabbit hole, though. I think that was a good rabbit hole.
Honestly, it needed to be talked about. It's 2021. We're probably the first podcast to talk about Nickelback or Creed yet. So
Also, you know what?
That's
I'll be the
probably
first
true.
one to go on record and say it. Nickelback isn't that bad.
we're changing the
It's-
subject.
it's
No,
really
stop.
not.
Come on.
I'm not saying I'm
No,
a fan.
Alan.
But like, if you're
Alan.
hating them just because the internet tells you
I actually
to,
think I think you could sell that shirt. It's not like
Yeah, you could.
I think there's a lot of folks that feel that way.
yeah,
There's a lot of people that are in the closet, Nickelback butt rock fans that are just like,
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm alone and it's what I want to listen to.
yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not
That's
going
not
to
what I
say
wanna
like I
listen to when I'm
love them,
alone.
that's what you said.
but they're not that bad. But like at the same time, they are definitely like,
confess-
what alcoholic dads that beat their wives and children go home and listen to.
I mean,
Well,
I
but
can
not
only imagine
All
their concerts
Nickelback
smell like-
fans are alcoholic dads who beat their wives and children.
When I was,
Sweet.
I was gonna say, I think when I was like 15, 16, I don't know how old I was,
Yeah.
something like that. I made a mixtape mixed CD, burnt,
Yep.
Nero, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ripping stuff.
Forgot
And
all about that.
I definitely made a CD with a bunch of Nickelback because my girlfriend, now wife, enjoyed that stuff. So,
That's adorable.
but she doesn't
That's a
listen
cute
to it
story.
anymore for sure.
Wow,
She
does
doesn't
she
either
even
listen.
love you?
Oh, she does, but she doesn't. I mean, thank God she doesn't listen to Nickelback anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Actually, yeah, because if she was, I wouldn't love her. Let's flip the table.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna
Whoa,
say it, but
whoa. Yeah. Alan said it.
yeah. Oh, trust me, my wife won't listen to this.
Dude, so it's really funny. 'Cause I feel like we're gonna like. be
Wait,
on
are we the
same page here.
Nickelback of podcasts?
You might be. My mom said that. So I told my mom when I was originally getting ready to do a podcast, everything, and she was like, "Oh, like that's really cool." And I was like, "Yeah." And so we had some like really good episodes and everything. And I told her, I was like, "Hey, mom, like you should check this out. Like went over some really good points. It was really good content. You should check it out." And she's like, "Okay." She came back to me like 2 days later, and she was like, "Hey, so I just want to let you know, I like stopped listening to your podcast." And I was like, "What? Why?" And she was like, No. It wasn't that it was bad. She's like, it was just like, it just sounded like you here in the kitchen talking, so I tuned you out. And I was like, oh, so like you
Whoa.
tuned me out
All
when
the
I'm at
time.
home, apparently. I was like, all right, cool. I see where I stand. I
Nice.
was like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be in my room all the time now.
I would actually like to get data on that, like people, especially dudes who do podcasts, like wives, girlfriends, other relations. Like, do they all do that?
My
Like, my
girlfriend
wife would
listens to
totally
us.
do that. She wouldn't listen. Like, she listens to my music, I think.
I hope.
But
She just supports you.
yeah. But if I was doing this like, she can't stand podcasts anyways. And especially if it was me doing it, she would be. There's no way.
Yeah. No, like one of my friends
Does your
hates
wife even
podcasts. He's
love
like,
you?
I can't listen to it.
I think so, man. But now, like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, as this all came out, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
I think I have to reevaluate my life decisions.
Just start playing her some of your music and see if she knows the words.
Divorce attorneys.
Oh, no.
Are you fact checking me?
Oh my God! It says you've already filed.
Not true. It's not true.
So what have you guys been up to? I know we kind of had you on here to talk about a few things, and you guys do a lot of different things. Let's kind of dive into that. You guys, I
Yeah.
don't know who wants to start. I don't even know who's talking because you guys kind of
Yeah.
sound like so much alike. So
No, go for it.
Well, so when I was on here last time without Isaac, we talked a lot about local music, and so we talked a bit about non-existent records, and that's basically like a for fun / for serious business that Isaac and I and a guy named Jake came up with at the beginning of 2020. Just to like we had
grand visions.
And then
COVID just kind of wrecked things.
We still have visions.
You guys were about to have that show the last time that we talked to you.
Oh, the 7 Dot show. The show, the pizza place. That went really well. We raised like $1,000 for Project Share, which is a food bank kind of place in Carlisle.
That's awesome.
And we had Indian Summer Jars was there, and my band, the Gregory's, played, and Holland came and played from Harrisburg. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
We were there, weren't we?
That's
where
you
we
guys
went
came
to,
out and hung
right?
out for a little bit.
I was like, unless there was another one.
We were like, Isaac's texting me like, is my sound equipment okay? It was like a monsoon.
Yeah, it did rain pretty hard that day, actually.
But it was super cool. It was outdoor. It was summertime, and it was just like, it was great.
It was cool.
It felt like we were like not in the middle of a pandemic, and
I actually ran into people I knew there. I'll have to talk to you off air about that because I want to like throw names out there and stuff.
Sure.
But I definitely ran into some people I knew there. That was crazy.
Yeah, it went really well, and we've done our best to try and keep things going as well as we could while kind of trying to fit into the state regulations. And it's kind of it's a weird time to be pushing local music because
for sure.
As serious as this pandemic is, and as convicted as we are about doing the right things, there's all these people there's art going away, there's people who are losing jobs, and it's like you have to find this balance of promoting people within new boundaries. And it's not easy, but I think I really do think this is a season that we'll get through. So for us, with non-existent records, it's kind of a matter of changing the immediate focus to like doing a lot more social media stuff. We're recording a young lady who's a songwriter in the area, trying to get more involved with recording or just like making those relationships so that once we can start booking live shows again, which is really the bread and butter of it, we're ready to go. Like we're not do all that inside work now so that, hopefully summertime this year or maybe fall this year or maybe springtime next year, whenever it is, we can kind of launch a lot of music live.
That's awesome.
That is really cool. And I think that's kind of, I think it's going to happen, and some people are going to be against it, some people are going to be for it, but like as soon as things start going back to normal, everybody's just going to be wanting to get out there and take off, do shows, perform live, all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to fall behind. Like, you don't want to do the wrong thing, but we don't want to fall behind. I think you're right. If history can help us in any way, 100 years ago when Spanish flu kind of finally started to dissipate, people lost their minds for like 10 years. Like they just partied like crazy until the country went
roaring 20s.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And that's not to say like that's definitely going to happen, but I think people like we're created for community. And so once there's a little bit more, everybody has a different level of comfortability with all this, different level of security. But once that like level of security tips a little more towards it's going to be okay, people are just going to start taking chances, and it's going to be crazy. So we have to, we don't want to be sitting there like, oh yeah, that people want to play music. Oh, it was like 2 months ago or too late.
It's really funny you say that. Me and my girlfriend were talking about that the other day, and I was like, it's just so weird to think. I was like, there's a really real possibility that like you think back just even like a year or two ago when you would go down to like you could go to like Bourbon Street on 2nd Street and like you're just wall to wall packed with people, no masks, no nothing, people are smoking like concerts wall to wall, like people are sweating on you like and like, people
it's great, we love it.
And I'm just like it's a very real possibility like that could end up just being a story that we tell like our children and our grandchildren like, hey, there used to be a time where we could just go and I was like, and that's just mind-boggling to me that could be reality.
Well, I feel like, I have a 7-year-old and she's living in this reality too. And if I tell her story, she'd be like, yeah, Dad, I know. But it would be like, she'd be like, oh, that's gross. Why would you want people sweating?
True. We've already adapted a little bit.
We're already like turning the corner. It's like, this is the new norm.
At the same time though, like this happens, like we can't be super arrogant as humans in this particular time to think that like we're the only ones going through something and now we're gonna finally like adapt in this. I think humans do adapt. That's what we do. We're created to kind of process data and like change for the better in many ways. But like there were like terrible pandemics in the past, and here we were a year ago sweating on each other. So I don't know how much of an influence. Like I think the power for the drive for community, like that natural instinct to want to be around other people, is probably more natural and more persuasive. I mean, the Black Plague killed lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely did.
But during the Reformation, during the Renaissance, people were in taverns and just living it up. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But
We'll see.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but after the year we had and the start to the new year that we're having, I don't know about you guys, but like a 10-year party sounds pretty sweet. Like I'm down for a decade of party. Like
it does.
because I'm cool. I'm 30. I'm still young enough. I could enjoy it. Let me chill out when I'm 40. Like let's get wild while we're in our 30s. Like let's do this. Like,
Why hasn't anybody come up with like a quarantine bar where everybody has to stay in the bar for 2 weeks?
That's actually a
there
great
you go.
idea.
oh my god!
Why don't you just
Hunter? What Yeah, where have you been this entire time? Are you
improvise,
just-
adapt, overcome?
Yeah.
We'll call it quarantinis.
Bear Grylls, Hunter.
Oh my god!
It sounds like something that guy would come up with who had that like horrible. What's it? It's on Netflix.
Fire
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I can't believe I knew that.
Firefest.
Firefest.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, FYRE.
Yeah.
That's basically
that's
what they did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, like that sounds like something he'd come up with, and then it would end up as a Netflix documentary because he
Yeah.
embezzled like $2 billion.
That's right.
Let's
I forgot
The
about
next thing you know, you get 2 slices of bread and a piece of cheese. Yeah.
look, man.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I mean, like $2 billion. You really know that? I mean, that's a lot of cheese. I mean, you can sue me, but I don't think you're gonna get all that. I think I'm still gonna come out
walk
richer
away.
than
a
I
lot
am
in
when I
offshore
start.
accounts already.
What?
Yes, I've already buried a lot in offshore accounts. So
Yeah, it's like you can sue me, but I don't have it. It's like, where is it? I don't know.
But can you,
Lost in a boating
can you spend
accident.
that money from prison?
But you have $2 billion. I don't think you're gonna go to prison.
yeah.
And if you do, you're not gonna be there long. There's certain stories that we just don't talk about, but when you go there, you
Escobar
don't
guy,
last
I don't
very
know.
long.
And it'll be a nice prison.
True.
Yeah, it'll be a
Uh,
very nice prison.
I want to say this before I forgot. You said Indian Summer Jars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were there.
They did a live stream with Rockmill, didn't they? Or
Probably.
Chris?
They did.
Yeah.
Yep, we did one.
They're super cool. They're actually nominated for like best folk band, I think, in the Central PA Music Hall of Fame right
Mhm.
now. So,
What?
do you guys know about that? It's been going for like 2 years now.
Central PA Music Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do like an event in March,
Mhm.
and like it's kind of cool. I wasn't sure if I thought it was cheesy or cool at first, and then we started like pushing. I just started
Yeah.
pushing music more and more, and then we were like, we're already doing this alone. Why don't we just push music together? And then I was like, these guys are doing exactly what
Yeah.
we're trying to do. This is super cool. So I'm gonna actually try and go in March if it's not canceled.
Right, and I think the cool thing about it is like we actually do have. I mean, we do have a history in Central PA
Yeah, there's a
of
legacy.
producing decent amount of artists.
Yeah.
and, like,
yeah.
Oh
in
my
the
goodness,
80s and
yes.
stuff. Like the 80s, we were actually like a much level, whatever you want to say, like level B music venue scene.
Yeah.
Like we had decent bands tour through here in the 80s and 90s,
Mhm.
and that produced great bands locally. And actually, I think that contributed to the local scene even into the 2000s and
Who's that
early
guy?
aughts.
It's from Mechanicsburg. His mom lived where we grew up. Brett
Yeah.
Michaels.
The guy from
Michaels.
Poison.
Yeah,
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 Brett
right.
Michaels.
Poison's
Yeah.
from
Yeah, he went to
Harrisburg.
Redland or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we have a lot of,
They're
got,
from
you know,
Mechanicsburg.
DJ from
Yeah.
Incubus, he grew up in
Yep.
Dillsburg. Like, we have a lot of folks that are just, they
Hall &
moved
Oates,
away, but
Will Smith, Poison, Mac Miller, Joanne Jett, Taylor Swift,
T Swift's from
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
T
yeah.
Swift, ABR,
T-Swift.
obviously.
Oh, of course.
Boys to Men.
Yeah,
Really?
Philadelphia.
I did not know that. The
Oh, yeah, there's
Roots.
tons of Philly.
Breaking
Philly, yeah.
Benjamin.
Oh, my
the
God.
guy from
that's
Breaking
from
Benjamin lives in
Allentown.
Mechanicsburg.
Yeah, that was local.
What?
They're Breaking Ben's first drummer. He does lessons and stuff.
No way.
One of their family members lived 2 houses down from my mom.
Christina Aguilera, Wiz Khalifa. Everybody knew that. Louis Verts from Pennsylvania. I'm not a fan of him, but
Well, and the cool thing is, like,
Right.
some of those guys are east or
West
west, right?
or
That's
right.
like Pittsburgh and Philly, but like most of the acts you just named are actually closer to the central area
Central,
between,
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
you know, if you want to count Lancaster-ish, kind of coming
Hailstorm?
across, you know.
Yeah,
I
Hailstorm.
mean, you can be
Not
in
a
Lancaster
fan,
in
but-
35 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, at
Oh,
least for
fuel,
me.
Respect
fuel.
where
I
it's
mean,
given.
there's
Yeah,
you know,
fuel.
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. So like,
God, Fuel, I love
They're just
Fuel.
gonna-
Yeah.
Meek Mill. Go
Really?
Birds. Yep. CKY.
Yeah,
The
dude,
Wonder
Bam's-
Years?
Bam's older,
Yeah,
Bam's
they're
older
out-
brother.
They're out like
Oh, that's right.
Westchester.
Yeah. Frankie Avalon. Wait. That's not the Frankie Avalon I'm thinking of, is it?
I don't know.
It's
Frankie
definitely
Avalon.
not. No. No, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Mickey Avalon. Never mind.
But it is cool because like that kind of legacy does encourage local artists.
Yeah.
Because they think, okay, well, like, you know, Bret Michaels is from here, or Taylor Swift is from here, and it also puts the place on the map so that it isn't so podunk that nobody in New York City or LA is gonna think. Like if somehow one of the artists that we're working with 3 or 4 years from now gets noticed, it's not like totally out of the blue, because they understand that this area has a little bit of a
history
of a history with
Well,
music.
I think it's really important to if you're gonna actually pursue music in a local city or scene, like you need to have infrastructure, and part of that infrastructure is some sort of like, as much as I hate like awards and whatever, like because music and stuff is whatever. It's hard to.
I get the point you're
Yeah.
trying to make, though.
But when it's local and it's just like, oh, this is just like us celebrating music in our community and like actually patting people on the back and be like, hey, like thank you for continuing to
Yeah.
record music and like
Yeah.
playing shows to 20 people, like
Yeah.
that's still something, and
Yeah.
gives hope for 14-year-olds who are like, oh, I guess I could write songs.
That's
like,
cool.
well, I think like, I mean, I grew up going to the Champ every day, like
Yeah.
we had an underage scene.
We really
And-
did. It's
yeah,
kind of
it was
funny.
sick.
Like, I mean, just looking back, going there, how many people were my age, and like
Yeah.
then once I became like older, like it was still just always people my age. Like, and there would be like a small like crowd of younger people, which was always great to see. It's like great. There's more young people getting involved in the music scene, but like
Yeah.
I feel like our generation was kind of
know.
like the last
Yeah,
one.
it's like Pokemon.
Yeah, dude.
That's coming back though.
I think it is.
Oh no, it's definitely back. It's back strong.
My daughter's got all these Pokemon cards. She's like, "Have you ever seen these before, Dad?" I'm like, "I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I threw away like I had a binder like this thick."
Yeah, it's like, do I know about these? Don't sit down. I'm about to teach you about Pokemon cards.
All right, so I remember when Pokemon Go came out. That was whenever I'd moved in my first apartment, and I would always get home from work in the summertime and just chill on my front porch and have a beer. I just turned 21. And whenever Pokemon Go came out, literally the next day, the amount of people that would walk by my house increased by easily 80%.
Yeah.
And I would just start yelling at people like, gotta catch them all. And everybody would be like, hell yeah. Hand them a beer and it'd be a good night.
See, like I was so hype on that, and then like I saw like how it worked, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. Like they're like, yeah, you gotta like spin it, and then you can like, meh, and then it's like, no, and it's like, give them a berry. I'm like, what? And they're like, give him a berry. And it's like, now you got it. I was like, this is done. I was like, can I make him fight anyone? They're like, whoa, 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 walk before you run, bud. You can catch him. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this isn't Pokemon. I was like, I'm over this.
So what happened to me was I tried to get into it, got into it for like maybe 2 weeks. Was like, all right, this is getting kind of cool. Logged in the next day, all my Pokemon are gone. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I do
wow.
remember
What
that
happened?
Nantech had like a bunch of problems.
that's not what
and-
happened.
Oh.
I had recently broken up with my girlfriend, got back together with her 6 months later. She's like, hey, so I was pretty salty about our breakup, and somehow you got logged into your Pokemon Go on my, or I got logged into your Pokemon Go on your phone, and I deleted all your Pokemon.
Broke up with her again.
Not immediately,
okay.
but I did eventually.
And it was a weighing factor.
It was. She got rid of my Charizard.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty.
That's
yeah,
rough,
that's grounds.
Yeah.
that's
Especially if you had a Charizard in 2 weeks, dude.
capital punishment. Right
I
there.
had a lot of people that thought I was pulling some funny things on that, but somehow had
Yeah.
one. How did we get onto Pokemon in the first
I was
place?
just saying how Pokemon killed our music scene. It was like Pokemon came out and like all
He's
the
like-
hardcore bands just were like, I guess we're done now.
We're just
He's like, if I see Ash catch him, I'm gonna beat the shit. Catch these hands.
Yeah,
Well, it's true.
right.
People, I guess, at some point, it's somewhere kids stopped creating as much music because that wasn't as cool. I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint that because
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I'm a little older than you. You're older, but I'm like, it was still cool when I was in high school. The music thing was still really cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
When
yeah.
I was in college, I guess for second year of college, and I was playing with Hot Jam Factory. It was still really like when we played at Champ. It was like there's a lot of people there.
Mhm.
So that I guess that was almost 10 years ago though.
Yeah, I mean, you could put 6 crappy bands at Champ, and there would be 300 kids there.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Dude,
Yeah.
that's
It was
the
insane.
thing. I think that's the difference. Is like back then you were just like
It was just what you
back-
did.
It was the thing to do. Like it didn't even
Yeah.
matter if you knew the bands. You were like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead into the Champ. Like they have
Yeah.
a show, and
Yeah.
you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's like instead of going to hang out in your friend's basement, playing video games, they decided to go out and be social and experience
Yeah.
local art.
Well, I remember like Chris, whenever he was in Search of Words, his CD release show was just as big as the ABR annual, or not? What show?
Oh my
ABR did
God,
a
I
huge
do
show there.
remember
What
that.
was that at the
he's
Champ?
gone. He's not there.
He's not right here. I don't know where.
Well, they did
Yeah.
They used to do. They would come through every once in a while and do something.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a Christmas thing and they did some other stuff.
Yeah, they did. They didn't do a CD release at the Champ though, did they?
I don't know.
ABR.
ABR
ABR?
probably didn't.
I think they
could've-
did back in the
could've went-
very
I
beginning.
mean, I was gonna say maybe when CI took over, they would have done more stuff.
I feel
Yeah.
like maybe
Because
they-
I
but-
definitely saw ABR at the Champ.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
many
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Like, and it was just like, I remember going there and I was like, this seems like a bad idea to have a band this big in a venue this small. And
See, I remember the days. Maybe you guys saw them too, but back in the day when ABR was just doing fire halls, like I went to a York College show with Haste the Day and ABR,
Haste
and
the
it was like
Day.
there was like I don't know 20 people there, and then like it was like the whole like I don't know the old dudes hardcore scene showed up. I was like 14, 15.
yeah.
You know, like they were just starting, like they're like flying every show, like they were just not a band. I mean, and they got this like they were just hustling, like they worked
Yeah.
so hard to get every single show. And you know, as soon as they were done with the show, they like they didn't even tear it down. Well, they tore it down because Haste the Day played, but then like they were just at the door flying, like here's the next show, here's the next show, here's the
Yeah.
next show. Like, hey, did you guys get stuff? Did you get your sticker, merch? Like
Yeah.
They had a work
they
ethic.
hustled so hard, like they were the hardest working band. Like they deserve everything they get.
They do, and like they actually did win a Grammy recently, did it? Or did they just get nominated
I
the
don't
second
know.
time?
Yeah, I think they got
it was
nominated.
Yeah, because I know they lost it originally to Hailstorm, and I was just
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah,
I was like,
bands where you can't hear the like when nobody understands the lyrics,
Yep.
you just don't get awards.
nope, you don't.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I was like, from a musician standpoint, I'm like, no disrespect. I'm like, but
Oh yeah.
August Burns Red is a way more talented
They
band.
kill it.
Like
Yeah.
way more
They
talented.
do kill it. That hustle mentality though is like that's something that
That's the make or break.
That it is because there's so many people, and even if you just look in our little area with where it's kind of spans like Adams County, Cumberland County, Perry County, Dauphin County, like there's so many bands and like just dudes like us and gals like us just like promoting like that. It's really comes down to like just hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid for this.
Right.
It's all about the love for it, and so. You end up like going to a show, even though you've been working your butt off all week at your real job because you want to support the artist. You want to say hi to them. You want to meet them. You want to tell somebody else about them. That sort of thing is like that's it's like that's literally what we do. That's the whole non-existent records thing. It's like, oh, let's put a name on something that's really kind of boring. Like what we do is we just post and talk and share, and that's all we're doing.
But you're making like a social platform for people to like communicate and network with each other, though, which
Yeah.
is huge and something
Oh,
that
yeah.
is you're just kind of taking the community and making it more of a community,
Mhm.
and that's something that kind of needs to be done at a time like this, especially when like we were kind of talking about the local music scenes just kind of die out sometimes, and
Mhm.
somebody needs to do something. Like, thank you for taking that initiative and
Yeah.
going out there and doing that, because if somebody's not going to do it, eventually it's all going to
Mhm.
die, and then we're just stuck with SoundCloud rappers.
Mhm. Well, what it comes really what it comes down to is, I'm a songwriter and I can do all that I can to hand out flyers at a
Wait,
show.
he writes songs?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
really good ones. But
Some say they're the best.
that's right. But if it's my song and I'm sharing it, and there's always a little bit of like wariness in any kind of marketing, where if like the person is marketing their own product, you're like, I don't know. But when you read that Amazon review from somebody else who actually tried it out and liked it, then your interest is
Yeah.
piqued a little more. And so there's some sense like having this community based kind of like just a couple of hustlers record company, quote unquote. The idea is that like we are listening to this stuff, and so like you don't know this artist Carson that we're working with. You don't know who she is, but we're like working with her. We love it, and so I say, hey, dude, you gotta check this EP out. Well, you might come across her posting on like local Facebook groups, like I just released a new EP, and you're like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
But then when you hear three other dudes or three other gals like, hey, this is really good EP. Now you're like, oh, like three people I know.
Yeah, and
Like
those are people
this.
like that
Maybe
you
I should
value
listen
their
to this.
opinions.
Okay, yeah. So now, maybe I will listen to this. I think there's something about that like funneling, which is important with the local music scene. Like I went on to that Central PA Music Hall of Fame thing. I did all the voting, and you guys should do that if you haven't. It's
Yeah, I
fun.
went on there. I think I voted for Evie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she's best female artist right now, and she's incredible.
We
Oh,
had her on
Evie's-
here. She's amazing.
Evie's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But they posted like I think it was 10 records of like the top records of the year, and Dandy's Wildflowers record is on there. It's super good. And there's a couple others that I hadn't heard. There's an EP by a girl named Devin Beck who's in Nashville now. She's from Central PA. Awesome like country record. Small Town Titans new record is on. And so I'm like, okay, here's 10 out of these 10, like 7 of these EPs or albums I haven't heard yet. So I just listen to them all. I know like not everybody's gonna do that, but I'm interested in it. And so
Yeah.
like then after that, I'm like I'm like, this is actually really good. So like I'm gonna share this on Instagram or tell somebody like this is really, you should listen to this. It's really good. And I think that kind of thing helps because a lot of people aren't necessarily gonna take that time. But if they see that other people are doing that and they like it, maybe instead of putting on T Swift's Evermore album tomorrow, they'll put on Small Town Titans or
Well, that's-
whatever.
No, you're
Yeah.
exactly correct. I mean, you hear like, I listen to like Apple Radio, like Apple Podcasts, like what, but like I hear like advertisements like, oh, like check out the new like whatever, and I'm like, no, like, but if someone like you guys are like, hey, dude, like you should check out this band, like it's really like what we were doing before we even started rolling. I was like, yo, you got to listen to this breakdown.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that gets you involved to people. But you're right. I mean, the bottom line is if the hustle's not there, it's not going to happen. And I think it's time we have the conversation that we've been avoiding, and we need to take the hustle to the next level. Instead of handing out flyers, stickers, merch, I think you just need to get all of your gear ready to go, and you just start kicking in people's doors in the middle of the night and just start
Yeah.
playing a show. Like, bring the music to the people. Like, they don't even have to ask for it. You just bring it, and then they just have to listen. And then you're like, did you like
you
what you
two
hear?
did
I was
that.
gonna say that is the Apple way,
Yeah.
actually.
They just kicked in the door of your iPhone. It was like, we're here to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to delete me?
Yeah.
Not allowed.
Negative.
I think to your point, what is missing is like we're missing good curators. Like
Yeah.
Artists. I mean, not to get super esoteric, but like Michelangelo and all these guys, like back in the day, like they didn't market their wares. Like
Yeah.
their stuff spoke for themselves, and people. There was already an infrastructure there where curators were like, "You must like this because it's good,"
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then people would be like, "Oh, this is good." Like it's like
I actually hate it, but you're right. It's amazing.
but it takes a lot of people who like are trusting or that you can trust that kind of make it into your life, because it's like, how do you find music? Like, I mean, everyone finds music differently.
Yep.
And so like cracking that code, like I think Spotify has done a lot of that. As horrible as Spotify is, like it's one of those things where it's like, well, I guess that's the way we find music now. And
Right.
like, I can't get myself to turn on the radio. Like,
Oh, God,
there's
no.
no way I'm going to turn on the radio. But
I zoned out the other day and left the radio on the other day and was just like, this is
Right.
awful.
it's like it's like TV. I haven't turned on the TV in like a
Right.
year,
Yeah.
and then I like did the other day, and I was like, I totally forgot about commercials. Like, I haven't
I
listened
know.
to a commercial in a year.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
So you pay for the good Hulu. Okay.
we pretty
Can't
much
hide
just,
money, huh?
Oh, I mean, I do the same thing too. I, mean, I can't stand advertisements. I can't stand commercials. I'm the same way. But like, as soon as like you had Netflix cable, Hulu, Disney Plus, like all that, I was like, I don't need cable anymore. I was
Right,
like, there's
yeah.
just no point for it.
Well, I can't like I have Spotify Premium. I'm just as sinful as the rest of you guys, but
Oh yeah.
Bougie.
I have
But-
Apple Music.
yeah, well, there you go.
That's
But
what I have.
I think I like good commercials. I don't like bad commercials.
Oh sure.
And the problem is that there's so many products out there that I don't care about. And this is look, I'm not like
Before you
I get
continue,
the
who's
danger.
paying you to be here?
Isaac
Before this
is. Yeah.
Moneybags over
He's
here apparently.
So he's the CEO of Non-Existent Records.
He's like, and you're about to get a free subscription to Sirius XM.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Brett's just the hype man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But like I don't know, I think this is like I don't like that, I tell Zuckerberg all these things and he listens and tailor stuff to my needs. But I kind of do. Like I kind of like there is value in that of like, look, I actually pay more attention to these ads because they're more interesting to me, and I'll be less likely to skip those commercials.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of a weird. It's totally off
I
topic,
think-
but it's kind of a weird.
No,
it's totally.
I was gonna say like with podcast, like as you listen to podcast, and hopefully you guys will get some sponsorship here, and like generally speaking, the podcasts I listen to, those commercials are like, no, I actually use this product. It is good. It's not
Right.
Alex Jones
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
buy these essential oils or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, like it's
From my
it's-
website.
I would listen to that actually. That would be funny.
but it's usually like, yeah, no, I wear this underwear. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Or like, I these are the only T-shirts I wear now. Like,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
it's good sponsorship, and it's stuff that I like. Oh, I'm also a middle-aged male, and I care about that stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
gonna go buy those New Balances. That's fine.
As a salesman, I guess I can't really knock advertisements because that's my job as a whole.
Well, I think, like I went to school, like I wanted to be like an ad man. Like I wanted to write good ads and like change the industry, you know, like I don't want to just promote. I don't want to just like be another like loudspeaker because I think there's just enough noise. But like, how can you be creative?
You wanted to
and,
make
like-
people love commercials instead
Well,
of hate them.
Well, I think what I wanted to do, I didn't realize you shouldn't do it. Like as soon as you blur the lines between editorial and advertising, like all of a sudden you have propaganda. You have, you know, you're baking in advertisements into like real content, and you're like, oh, that is a good idea. But it's like, oh, well, it works. Like it's great if it's a good product,
Right.
and it's like, you know, in sync with your lifestyle and like your beliefs. But then like once you like start doing that with other stuff, disinformation
Yeah.
starts to like run amok, and like all of a sudden you have news stations that aren't news stations, and you have,
Right.
you know,
Right.
so
I like where this conversation is going.
trying not to go there. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
I was just saying, but we should detour.
now is a little bit dicey time to talk about the news.
That's right. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Brett, a little bit back to what you were saying. Sorry, I come in real loud.
No, that's good. You said my name, so I paid attention.
You were talking about
I responded.
you were talking about like, you know, calling out other bands and
Uh-huh.
bringing people up. I think that helps a lot with the music industry, with other bands bringing up
Yeah.
other bands,
Oh, 100%,
especially
yeah.
up and coming bands, bringing bands with them as they come up,
Yeah.
saying like, hey, this person's also here. Don't just forget about them.
Yeah.
do you guys
Yeah.
remember? Do you guys remember Farewell Flight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They beat my band in every battle of the bands until like, I don't know, it was like 2006. We finally beat them. But that was the kind of thing. Like they were older, they were way more polished. They actually like had good records, and we just brought more kids out. It was one of those like weird voting things where like they just couldn't get anybody out because they were playing 6 shows a week, and like we
Yeah.
could because we were only doing like 2 a month. So
Yeah.
like that was the thing where like
And you were like, in your face.
yeah, right.
Those are our fans.
What band
Yeah.
were you in, or are you?
I was
in,
in,
or-
so I was in a band called Undefined. We were horrible. I mean, it was great. Like it was great for being
We won Battle of the
like,
Bands, though. We
You
won
know,
Battle of the
being
Bands.
15 in a band, 16, like whatever. Like that was great.
Me
you
an
know?
honor.
And then I was in a band actually with Hildy for a little bit called Oh Scarlet, and then An Early Ending took them, which was fine. And then they took Michael.
They were okay.
But we were only a band for a little bit. We broke up like right after played a gig in Florida. Like it was a horrible situation.
Oh,
But and then after that I was in a bunch of other things. I played in a band called Able. They were signed to Face Down, did like a side record label.
I definitely have heard of them.
And yeah, so they're from New York. They were like a indie Christian band. We played like Purple Door and like all the
Hell yeah.
That's
Christian festivals
awesome.
and stuff.
Purple
And then-
Door.
That was my first concert
Yeah.
ever, or show,
Oh yeah,
festival,
dude,
everything.
Purple
all in
Door.
one.
Purple Door changed my life. 14 years old, I saw As I Lay Dying, and I was like, "That's what I want to do."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
100%.
seeing-
And I was in a pop punk band, so that hurt. Like it was hard. I was like, I want to play like heavy
Yeah.
stuff.
I want to
Yeah.
play heavy stuff.
and I couldn't. So
And
I was
then-
like, all right.
And then when all the news came about him, you were like,
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go there.
You let me down. as an inspiration, you failed me.
It's so I still
know.
listen to the new record.
Oh yeah. Oh, me too.
Oh, it's good.
It's just sugar.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I support. They're like, if you listen to music, you support them. I'm like, I mean, you're
They're
kind
not
of
getting paid
wrong.
anyways on Spotify.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm gonna listen to it.
well, we do that in all of life, right? Like we have to be careful with that. Like
Yeah.
there are
Don't put
people
anyone on a pedestal.
like I listened to the Chronic in high school. It doesn't mean I support like gangsters. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just good music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't listen to Chronic now, but but this is a disclaimer. But
Yeah, you're right.
I listened to Never Shout Never the other day. That was
Bro.
it hit a little different.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you're
Interesting.
25.
What-
dude, I listened
what
to
album?
Yeah,
all the old stuff. Smell You Later,
Okay.
Big
So
City
like the
Dreams.
actual good stuff. Yeah.
She's got style.
I was getting into somebody. Brian from Young and Heartless posted this like top 5 metal bands on Facebook the other day, and it like hit me hard. Like he was like one of his top 5 most influential metal bands for him was Ashes of the Wake, Lamb of God.
Oh my God.
I was like, I haven't listened. Like I forgot about how good that was. And then there's a bunch of other albums on there. I'm just like cycling through like this is why I started listening to heavy music.
Yeah.
Like
Under Oath is what got me in. Under
Yeah,
Oath
dude.
and Showbread.
Oh wow.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Showbread.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It was Bullet for My Valentine for me. They were my gateway hardcore band.
really,
Before then, I was just like, I think I've told the story on the podcast before, so I'm gonna make it very quick. But yeah, it's like when I was late to the game, like all my friends were like already listening to like Devil Wears Prada and stuff like that, and I was like, bro, this is garbage. Like I was like, what is this? And they're like, dude, this is good music. I was like, dude, anyone can just yell at the top of their lungs, and they're like,
No, they can't.
no, they can't. And I was like, yeah, they can. Watch. Fast forward 2 years later, I like taught myself how to scream, and through teaching myself how to scream to literally just disprove my best friend, I created a passion for it. And it was Bullet for My Valentine that was the first one that I could like get into that had screaming, and then it just went like deeper and deeper, and like now it's like you can listen to like I Declare War and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
it is like you do develop a taste. Once like I was listening to like the Beatles, and my friends were listening to heavy music. I was like, you guys are dumb. This is stupid. this isn't real music.
No.
It just a little bit at a time. And then now I'm like, I'm listening to like Mortification or Vomitorial Corpulence, like these ridiculous like black metal bands.
Infinite Annihilator.
Yeah.
They're actually amazing.
Did you guys ever listen to Weekend Nachos?
No.
Did you ever
No,
get
but
into
I
them?
want to. That's
They're like,
a
a,
great
they're like a
name.
power violence band, like 35-second songs.
Nice.
It's just like
That's like Tyler's kind of music.
See,
It is like
45
Tyler-
seconds.
yeah. So this goes back to the O Scarlet band I was in.
Okay.
So we were playing a show in.
I keep
I don't
thinking
know
you
where
guys
it
saying "Oh Sleeper." I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
interrupt,
No,
but-
I keep hearing Scarlett O'Hara.
right.
That it's like yeah.
Anyways, we were playing.
Is that what you guys did?
we were supposed to play the show at this. Back in the day, they had these things called info shops. They're basically like a coffee shop, but they had like magazines and like real hippies that smelled horrible, and they had couches. Like bands could just
Whoa.
like crash there and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So we were supposed to play the show there, and then like we show up and they're like, "Oh no, the show got moved. Didn't you guys hear?" And I was like, "What?" And so we went over to the other venue, and they're like, "Show's not here. It moved." And I was like, "What?" Like there was no communication. And they're like, "Yeah, it's at this house." And we're like, "That is super weird. I don't
That's
know."
the worst when
So we
that
show up
happens.
to
Because it's happened more than once.
right. We show up to this house and like knock on the door, and I'm like, "This is not where the show is. Like, there's no way." And this dude comes to the door, and he's like, "Yeah, can I help you?" I was like, "Yeah, there's supposed to be a show here tonight." And he's like, "God, are you oh man?" And he like runs away, and I was like, that was weird. He like yelled up the steps, and he's like, "Hey!" And he like yelled for his girlfriend or whatever. He's like, "Is the show tonight here?" And she's like, "Yeah." And like after like a couple minutes, they resolve that like he's like, "Yeah, I guess the show's here. Come on in, man." And I was like, this is the weirdest thing. And so like
Am I interrupting dinner?
Right.
Like,
So I'm thinking like this is gonna be like the worst show ever. Like I don't understand. Like there's not even a place to play. And he's like, "Oh, just come with me." And so like there ended up being like this little garage. It's like half the size of this room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
That
"Yeah,
shows.
like set up here. This is like the stage." And like the other band was already there, Weekend Nachos, but they were like all sleeping in there. They had like a little van and a trailer. And so I was like, "All right, cool. Like at least there's another band here. Like it's not super horrible." But I guess what happened is like a couple of like the headline bands dropped, and it was just like us that were like touring.
yeah.
And Weekend Nacho showed up a week early.
Right. So like we start setting up and stuff, and this little Indian dude comes up. He's like in a backpack. He totally reminds me of Aziz Ansari. Like so, picture Aziz coming up, and he's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I was like, "Oh hey, like yeah, I'm good."
Here for the show?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, yeah." Is he coming for the show? He's like, "Yeah, I'm in a band called Weekend Nachos." I'm like, "Oh, cool. I've never like heard you guys." He's like, "Oh yeah, we're just like, like rock band, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
Oh, sweet.
And so
The most generic label ever.
So we're like, we played our set, and there was like maybe 10 kids inside the thing, and then like nobody does anything for like an hour, and then like they're like, "Oh yeah," like we go on at like 9 or whatever. We're like, "Oh, like why did we play so early?" So anyways, long story short, they start playing, and there's like hundreds of kids pour in. Like it gets nuts. Like the garage is like shaking. Somehow there's a mattress that shows up and it's like crowd surfing, and like there's like alcohol everywhere. Like you're just getting sprayed with it. Like just it was insane. Bro. And the song, so like, you know, this happy little Indian dude comes up and he's like, you know, hey man, how's it going? And he gets on stage and he's like, like, and he's just like growling, like pig squealing, like everything.
Whoa.
And I was just like, what is this? And I've like never seen or heard anything like it. The bass player's there just like falling asleep with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just like going up and down his bass.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. It was the wildest thing.
That's
and
so
like,
cool.
We were just like, what? Like we just didn't know what to do. Like
You're
we
like,
had no
I think
idea.
we're doing the music thing wrong.
Yeah.
Are they still? I'll book them this year.
I mean,
Right.
I don't know if
them up. Yeah.
they're probably not touring anymore.
They might be
but
too big to book now if they were that big then. But
They were
put
pretty
something
big.
out in 2013. Looks like their last single.
okay. But you're right, dude.
Oh
like
my God, you're
They
right.
were, they were so brutal.
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, it literally.
Does he-
He literally looks like him.
that's legit.
This poor guy's listening to the
I
podcast.
didn't know Vic Fuentes was in.
Look him up. Look him up.
We've got nachos too.
Yeah, look him
Yeah,
up.
It was nuts. So that was like, you know, and all the, you know, you look back at those like horrible shows that you've played, and you're like, oh, that was like that was horrible. But then you learn from it. You know, you take all those like horrible experiences, and you're like,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
We survived.
The bass player part killed me because I remember going to a champ show one time, and it was some local band, and it was my friend's band. They had, I don't know, last minute pulled together a bassist. And I guess this dude was an alcoholic and was so drunk,
Oh my
couldn't even
gosh.
keep his hand on the neck anymore, and just started fist bumping on the stage. And we were like, you know what? At least
He's got
he's
good
just
stage
owning
presence. That's great. Yeah.
it.
Just smacking
Gotta
the
be good
strings.
for
What is
something.
that? Is that your garage show?
Probably no, I don't know. That looks too nice.
The camera quality.
There wasn't a stage,
Not enough alcohol in the background.
That's a really clear picture. There's no way that anybody at the camera.
and
would
like
that.
the one guy just like kept on destroying the drummer's kit, and I was just like, oh, that's so disrespectful. Like I was not used to that at all. Like I don't know that, you know, I watched like before the Chariot, you know, Norma Jean, like they would do that kind of stuff. They'd like
Yeah.
start taking like his drum set away from him until he's like just barely playing anything.
He got,
I never
Norma Jean got
understood
kicked
that.
out of Purple Door for spitting and barking on people. That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. That sounds. I mean, you know.
I know Project got like uninvited because they did you know, Project 86. I don't know if you remember.
Oh
that.
yeah, I remember
They did
them.
that like that big mud fight of like 2000 and whatever that was,
That was
like 2006 or something, 2005.
2000. That was like 2007.
They
I think.
Okay.
they got asked to not come back
Yeah.
because people were throwing mud.
Well, so there was like a big mud pit because it rained,
Yeah.
and then you know everyone was just kind of like doing the whatever the pit thing, and then they're slinging mud at each other, and then he divided the people up. He's like, all right, like on 3 you're gonna like start throwing mud at each other, and then like as they were doing that, he said like, I'm surprised you guys haven't thrown any mud up here, and it like before he finished that sentence, the stage was covered. And they just had to. They were like, "All right," and they like just shut down the sound.
Yikes.
And they couldn't keep playing. And like the stage manager was just like running, like trying to protect the gear. Like, he was just like, trying
No,
to feel
my
bad for
babies!
that guy. Yeah.
He's got like a blanket.
I'm not getting my security deposit.
Yeah. It's like I'm renting the drums. Don't touch it.
That's awful.
That-
when you were
okay. It
was
talking
such a
about
mess. It
when
was
you were
a
talking
mess.
about setting up the garage show, like I had a little bit of anxiety when you were talking about like you guys playing, then an hour happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so tense. Like after running shows, like that's a nightmare.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. You book that one band, they're gonna be like really good, and then for some reason they didn't load in.
But
and
now,
then the other band's done, and now they're like,
Yeah.
it's like an hour in the setup. I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
now that I know more about Florida, it totally makes sense though.
They just do stuff like
Florida's horrible.
that. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean,
I'm cool with it if it's chill. Like I've done a couple house shows where I try to run it as close as I can to like a venue
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I'm like, no, like let's go. We're
Well,
you know, I'm people
Pennsylvania
that hang out.
Dutch up here, man. We care about
I
the
guess
time.
with business and time. And
I'll
shit.
be honest
Yeah.
with you. I don't think I've ever actually been to a house show. Now that I think about it.
What?
Are you kidding?
Like
They're
he
the
said,
best.
dude, it is Russian roulette, but you only got 50-50 shots.
Yeah, like, I
it's
think,
either
like-
going to be the worst show you've been to or the best show.
I
you've
always
been to.
wanted to, but like every time I get invited to one, there was just something going on. And I
we
couldn't
used
make
to
it.
we used to put on a lot of shows at the Fiala House, which is like not a house actually. It's a baseball clubhouse in Camp Hill, like behind the baseball field there.
Never
It was
heard
just a
of
tiny room. It was probably like the size of this room, but you could rent it for like nothing.
Okay.
It was like $25 or something. We're like,
my
cool.
God.
And we'd like
That's
sell
great.
we'd like sell Little Caesars pizza and crappy PA, but it was like
The setting
make
you,
bank.
you can't replace that setting. Like I think two hot takes are like I think we might see more house shows in the near future.
oh yeah.
Just because of the regulations on business and stuff, and at some point people may feel like they're fine, but there's regulations that they're going to try and make things work. Two, they're actually I think they're probably way better than they used to be. There's so much good talent,
Well,
and you
yeah.
can create such a unique experience. I've done them in my basement and at other people's houses where like I took the same care to book the artist that I would anywhere, except now you're coming in. It's like a suggested donation, and everybody's like, you can't. It's rude to talk
Yeah.
because you're literally in front of the artist.
Yeah.
So everybody's listening. The experience is totally different than a bar.
You guys-
It's
that is
amazing.
You guys
really
know
good
you guys know
point.
David Bazan, Pedro the Lion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I used to do
David like his
Big trucks.
band like yeah.
Great
So
song.
Undertow, his record label, and him, they were basically like, hey, you're not doing Pedro now. And he obviously did house shows and stuff, but he turned it into a business model. Like
Really?
he's like, hey, if I can sell tickets for $50 and people can put 30 people in a living room, like that's way better than a crappy bar show.
Yeah.
And he actually has people there that actually listen to him, actually buy merch,
Yeah.
actually pay attention. You can actually have conversations with them, and it's fine if you like in between songs actually have real conversation. Like
That's
And
actually awesome.
so-
yeah.
There's-
Like
it's
he-
actually less awkward than you
Oh, yeah.
would think it would be because
Mhm.
people are just kind of going back. You kind of come off the mic and kind of like,
yeah,
They're
I
actually
like that song.
they're there to see you and
Yeah,
connect with
100%.
you.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
and
No
they're
opener.
comfortable.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and they're comfortable because you're in. A lot of the times, somebody who's there is kind of connected to the homeowner or the artist.
yeah.
For when I try to do it, I try to bring in an artist and like I try to bring a new crowd for that. Like my friends come out to watch, so a lot of times there's like an artist who the people are there. He or she's never met them before, so that it's a whole new crowd. They're getting paid a little bit. And it just always. I've never had a bad experience. I've done 3 or 4 in my basement. I've done a couple at a buddy's house in a garage, and like, it's always been really, really good time.
I have them in my backyard.
We should do
Yeah?
it in my garage. Do they have
I
those
have a
giant barn
stage.
doors? That'd be sick.
dude.
I also think
Dude.
if somebody's coming out to see a show in somebody's house, they're likely going to be a little bit more respectful, but
yeah.
also they're probably there because they genuinely are interested
Yeah.
versus like a venue where it's just something to do.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like selective marketing. Like
I was just
you're
gonna
gonna
say,
have an
you're-
artist come to your house. You're gonna invite people that are going to be interested in listening to the artist.
You're literally weeding
So-
out like
Mhm.
the people. Like you're funneling the people
Yes.
that actually want to be there
Yeah.
and should be there.
Yes.
They're there. Like that's
you're cutting
that's
off
really
the people
smart.
that would throw mud on the stage.
And instead of charging a cover, or usually when I do it, I just say I name like a suggested donation based on how many acts I have,
That
and
is
then
a
and then
really
I
good play on
I
words.
I provide stuff. But it's usually like BYOB, BYO food, like do your thing, whatever. But I'm providing the venue, and so what ends up happening is I'm sure some people come, they feel like they can't afford to pay. That's like I'd rather them come and hang out, but inevitably, I make more than I was expecting to give to the. I just give it all to the artist, but like people who can afford to pay it or they want to do it, and so usually they give more, and so I end up giving the artist more than I quoted them. It's great.
I've put on house shows where somebody puts $100 in.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened when you get like someone like me. Like when we were there, and I didn't know there was going to be a suggested donation. Not like saying that was anything on you. I didn't know.
I did it on purpose. Just put 30,
Sneaky.
$40 in
No,
there.
I barely ever carry cash. When I
Right.
do, it's not broken up. And I reached
he
my
just
pocket.
dropped his credit card in
All
there.
I
Yeah,
had was
yeah.
a 20, and I was like, well,
I guess so.
there's
Beautiful.
$20.
Yeah.
Like
See.
Yeah.
it is what it
Not
is.
gonna get caught pulling out change.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd rather just put $20 in than
So you make-
walk down
you
the
make the whole
street to
small-
an ATM.
I was yelling
Yeah.
at Brett from across the room. I was like, "Yo, Brett, what's your Venmo?"
Yeah, yeah,
You got change for a 20?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
also what I was. Now in this age, you put that tip jar out there, suggested donation. You throw the Venmo, the PayPal on there. It's even better when you're doing it for a charity because
yeah.
people are like,
Yeah, whatever.
some people are like, I'm not paying that artist, but like, oh, it's going to homeless people. Oh, I better put money in there. It just
which
works
sometimes
out.
coincides with the artist.
It usually, yeah. Joke's on you. He's the homeless person, so it's all going to him.
Johnny
like,
Hobo
"Ah."
on the freight trains.
Yeah.
And that shows to be homeless. Yeah.
Yes.
You know them? That's
I've-
amazing.
I think you actually talked about him. I don't know, it was the last time.
Did I?
I think. Well,
Oh
somebody,
wait, because we were talking about bands with the name ND in it and how they're always good.
Yeah.
That's
My
right.
memory's terrible, so you should not ask me. I'll have to
Sorry,
watch
I
that.
remember hearing that name.
because you're pretty.
remember-
No, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the house. I think that stigma's kind of that taboo's kind of going away.
Oh yeah.
So now that I think about it, my garage is detached and is right up against a road.
There
So
you go, dude.
technically, I'm responsible for the music, but the people on the street are on public property.
What you could do is
And there's no open container law in my town. So
the parking lot. You could just get approval for people to be there, have the band play in the garage, and have the amps up outside.
Yeah.
Everybody's away.
Oh, there's towns.
Well, you're talking
Dude.
about like in the COVID era.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking like now.
Like
I
right
assume
now.
that's what you were
Right.
talking about.
I just meant in general, but I mean, like, that's actually a really good spin to put on it if we wanted to do that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, dude,
Wouldn't
that's
recommend it in this
solid.
weather, but
There's a ton of
Right.
towns that have always had traditions of doing like front porch festivals.
Yep.
And so they'll have like, one band goes on. It's kind of like a progressive dinner. I don't know. If you have a church background, that might make sense.
Yes.
But like, one band will go on and then like across the street, everyone just kind of turns around and another band plays
Yeah.
because they're on a different porch. And then down the street or like across the block, another band's going on at 9:00. And then it's like a whole
What?
neighborhood. Yeah. Like,
It's pretty cool.
there's one town in particular, I think they're in Wisconsin, that like that's like what they're known for. And I mean, and obviously like in Austin and stuff, if you guys ever been, like
Yeah.
that's just kind of how all the bars are. And it's actually too much. Like you can't. I was down there and it was like I can hear 4 bands and a DJ right now. Like
Yeah, it's too much.
this is too much.
Yeah, Nashville's
But-
kind of like that when I was down there.
like the honky tonks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, but like it's definitely nice whenever you're in like a neighborhood that you wouldn't expect there to be music, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, they're really good.
That's cool.
And then,
Yeah.
Oh, and they're
Yeah.
they're handing out wine over there. That's
Yeah.
cool.
You're like, sweet.
Let's do this again next week. Yeah,
So-
no, it's true.
But we were actually we had one planned.
Yeah.
Actually, what's his face? Andrew Staver.
Oh,
Uh,
Nick Andrew
Or,
Staver.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
He was booked for it. We had a bunch of guys, and then COVID hit, and we're like, I guess we cancel it, but it's outside.
Right.
But it was set up for like June or something when we were like,
You had no
I
idea
guess
what was going on.
yeah, we're like, I guess we just cancel it because everything else is canceled. So, but now I'm thinking, I'm like, well, we should just try and do it now.
Yeah,
'cause
spring,
it, like,
summer,
it
people will be
actually makes
outside again.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that. The one nice thing about being in this area for musicians is that this winter's gonna suck, right? It's already sucking.
Yeah.
But there's so many, wineries, big fields, all that stuff. Like as soon as the weather starts hitting 50 plus, live music is going to be as big as it usually is because you can
Yeah.
put people out in the field and not worry about it. You're good to go. So there is a benefit to some of that.
and Woodstock 2021 was invented.
That's right. Yeah.
Fire Festival
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah. He mentioned Nick Staver. Nick dropped an album called Medicine this year. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. Nick's a songwriter from Chambersburg. Oh no, he's just from Shippensburg.
Yeah.
He's really good. Like you guys got to check out some of his stuff at some point.
I definitely will.
I filmed two. Me and Jake, the other guy, Non-Existent Records. We've done 2 music videos for him, and he's dropping a new single soon, and we're doing a music video for him at the end of the month, and
That's awesome.
it's super fun.
That's
He's-
amazing.
He's a good songwriter.
Are you filming it or what?
I do all the B-roll. Jake's a much better videographer than I am. But yeah, we just bring our cameras out there. We're actually going to film it in Crosswater Distillery. They got this big, huge
awesome.
distillery. And
Where is
That's
that one?
awesome.
it's Mechanicsburg address, but I think it might be out closer to you actually. I'm trying to remember. It's kind of out of the way. It's like in this big industrial park, and there's like just this distillery
like
with a tasting room.
Yeah, I feel like I passed it the other day, but I can't remember where it was. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
I have
just
a
look it up.
computer.
Yeah,
in
you know,
front of me.
internet.
Yeah, I
Fact
could
check
just
me.
do that.
Technology.
It's really cool. They
Are
do a
in
lot of live
Cumberland or
music.
something?
It might be
Like in New
close to here.
Cumberland.
No, Dead Lightning's in New Cumberland.
What's it called?
This is
Crosswater.
This says Lewisberry
Yeah.
It's on
Okay.
there.
Lewisberry.
Industrial Drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
Lewisberry is a weird.
It's-
area.
it is.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
like
awesome.
that's like an Exeter too.
It's
crossed.
crossed
Had their vodka,
crossed
pretty good.
water.
Because I used to work
Yeah.
off industrial.
They do all kinds of great alcohol. The food's great. They do a lot of music there. I've played there. It was
And
awesome.
They pay their bands well. too.
Yeah. I went there. I booked a show there like the worst time to do a show with the Gregories because it was like, winter after the holidays and like nobody's going out and doing anything. A couple people showed up and we were kind of like, kind of bummed. And they like gave us all the tips and like gave us dinner
Yeah.
and it was like,
That's
they
awesome.
definitely are. They're super generous in there. So yeah, we're gonna go in and film Nick's video and it's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, Cumberland Honey does well there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Becca Foster
Yeah.
played there. Yeah, it's a great spot for all that stuff. But yeah, Nick's there. I think if I had to pick an album this year from all the local ones I've listened to, Nick Staver's Medicine is just, it's amazing. It's probably my favorite.
I'll
We'll have to
definitely
check it out.
Yeah,
Really
listen to it on the way home.
Yeah.
Well,
I think as 4 musicians, I think we could probably talk about music all night as much as we
I
want
feel like
to.
we've been talking for like 5 minutes, but it's been over an hour
Yeah.
already. So we didn't even take a break or anything.
We did,
Oh my
dude.
God.
We ran right through with no break this time, which is impressive.
Oh my god! That's
And we went
That's how
down
we roll.
like
We're hustlers.
no off-topic rabbit holes either. Like
I mean,
think
we had
stayed-
like 1 or 2, but like they
One or
weren't.
two, but
God, wow.
we kept it on there. Any plugs you guys want to throw out there?
Yeah, follow Non-Existent Records on Instagram and Facebook. We're trying to keep up with stuff as much as we can, sharing local music, and so the more people that see what we post, the bigger kind of audience we can create for local music. So
For sure.
that'd be a big one.
We definitely support
Yeah.
that.
Carson Kinnaman.
Yeah, Carson Kinnaman.
That's who we're putting the EP out with here soon.
Yeah, we're recording, and we're gonna be pushing a lot of this. She plays open mics and stuff, but we're gonna be pushing a CD of hers. An album of hers
Right.
soon.
For sure.
She's a really good songwriter, and she's got like this really cool kind of mysterious punk vibe to her. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah,
All right.
Do you like
it's hard to
mystery?
put my finger on it, but it's
Yeah.
definitely, we think there's a little bit of cranberries,
Yeah.
a little bit of, I don't know.
I was thinking yeah.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
yeah. She's got like this sweet like kind
A
of
Diet Sig. You guys are listening to Diet Sig?
No.
No.
Oh man, yeah, very similar to that too.
All right.
Like diet like diet cigarette, like
Yeah,
shortened?
but Diet Sig, yeah. She's amazing. They played Diet Sig played what's HMAC before HMAC was weird.
I'm just good point. I'm also just gonna throw out there though. I feel like if anyone ever marketed a diet cigarette, it would sell. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's
Well,
stupidity.
that's what they've always been trying to
yeah.
market. Like
It's a light.
Cigarettes make you skinny.
It's like
It's like I'm smoking air. It's like, but you're not. It's like, well, it's okay. All right.
yeah.
But awesome. Well, dude,
Yeah.
Brett, Isaac,
Yeah,
always a pleasure. Dude, Isaac, you are always welcome to come back with
Yeah,
Brett
man.
anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
let's do
without
it.
And without me.
You made it sound like
Not that we don't want you
I
here.
know. I know. It's okay. Isaac's
Brett,
cool.
I think this is the appropriate time to tell you to leave.
All right.
Every guest and Brett.
Just crunches the can. Angry
Rips
alcoholic
it open,
moment.
stabs out
Why-
in the jugular.
I have to say, I'm nothing without Brett. Like one of the things that got us together in the beginning was like, I'm tired, man. I'm getting old. I hustled my whole life, and I saw his energy, and I was like, geez, I need to work with this guy. Like he is nonstop, and I'll just support him, whatever he needs. I just want him because I mean, when you're building a team, whether
Yeah.
it's a musician, a promoter, business, whatever, you have to build a team that comes around people and
Yeah.
like, supports them. So
It's true.
I was just impressed. Like, I mean, whatever. This podcast is super cool because you have this amazing team.
Yeah.
You guys wouldn't be able to do this without the support.
Yeah, and crafted it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other cool, the another really cool thing. I think this is kind of just can be a hopeful thing for people all over because all the millions of people who are going to listen to this. But like Isaac and I
Isaac was
work together. Yeah. Isaac, we sound the same. We actually were married for a little while. It's no, but that's
Do you have
a
a
joke.
tattoo
That's a
too
joke.
under that ring?
Yeah. No. But like, so Isaac and I, we like the hustle, the interest in music, kind of like similar values. Like that it's really easy. Like there's so many things that we're different on, from like religion to politics, like even taste in music and some stuff. But like there's this collaboration because we both have this community focus, both work hard. We don't really care to like dehumanize the other person just because of one thing we disagree on. And we love music and art, and we want to be involved in that. And so like we're just like, bouncing it off each other, going back and forth, like working through stuff for local musicians because of that. I think it's on a really small scale. There's an example there that a lot of other people, companies, organizations, industries can like look at.
Sure.
Think, hey, like the common bond is so much better because we have this interest that like we both want to see succeed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been fun. It's been super fun working on this stuff. So
Yeah, something I talked about like on the podcast, completely unrelated but related at the same time, was just like the sense of community and how it just lacks in this country or this world in general now. Just like how the world used to be, where everybody knew each other in their community and worked together, talked together, worked in their own economy, helped out their own economy on a local level, like in their town,
yeah.
like Carlisle would.
Yeah.
The way our grandparents lived when they were our age. And what you're doing is essentially taking that exact same community standard and putting that into the
Yes.
music scene.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that and really love seeing it. And thank
For sure.
You gotta be globally understanding and focused, but you gotta love your neighbor, and like that's just where it all starts.
Yes, that
And I
is
think
so,
that's
so good.
I think that's a great sentiment to literally leave the podcast with. No, I think it's perfect. I mean, especially with everything that's going on in the world
Yeah.
right now, I think that is a perfect sentiment. Like
Absolutely.
everyone that hears this, just hear that and just let it be.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We're so excited to be out here doing this. Awesome guests like you guys, and it wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Rockmill. They're your one-stop shop
Yeah.
for anything musician or music business, anything that way. I can't talk at the end of this for whatever
It's all
reason. I
good.
think these guys blew my mind.
Recording,
but
AV
T-shirts,
solutions,
merch,
t-shirts.
Practice room.
He
They
listens.
literally
He
do
knows
everything.
He knows my pitch.
He knows it.
What's their website, Brett?
Oh, I don't go to the web. I'm on Instagram. I don't know.
Rockmill Inc. That's rockmillink.com. They're your one-stop shop for, like you said,
Everything.
Everything.
Recording, screen printing, music lessons, you name it. They got it. Darker with Daniel, they got us too.
Thanks,
So,
Daddy Logan.
thank you, Daddy Logan.
Daddy
Uncle Brett.
Logan.
Brandon. Wait, what?
Whoa, hey.
Whoa. Brandon
Whoa.
and Greg.
Well, you know what? I think this is actually a really good point to bring in. We will be seeing Brett very soon.
Oh, yeah.
Will we not?
Yeah.
We will be seeing you soon. I don't want to give away any details, though. We're going to let our viewers figure that part out.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
gonna be great though, and it's gonna be a different spin
Very
that you're
excited.
not expecting. So.
Very excited.
All right. Hey guys, thanks again.
Thanks,
One more
guys,
time.
for having us.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night.
Woo!